Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode where I review vintage fountain pens. This is the first episode from the hospital. I've been here for 2 days, I think, and this is my little office around here. I've bought with me some vintage fountain pens that I have to review. This is my bed, guys, and this is a part of the saloon where I am currently occupying. Today I have for you two beautiful vintage fountain pens from a small German producer. The brand is called Luxor, and if you watch my channel, I think you are familiar with this brand. As a matter of fact, I've reviewed one Luxor fountain pen made in the 1950s, which had a 14 karat gold nib. I will leave the link to that video at the end of this video. Today I have for you two vintage fountain pens from the same brand of Luxor, and I know that they are from the brand of Luxor because they have thermically imprinted. You can see the logo here, Luxor, on this beautiful celluloid one, and on the other one I have several inscriptions, and I will start with the one from the cap. So let me give you a zoom to see better, guys. Original Luxor telescope on the cap, and I believe this has another mark, yes, also thermically imprinted on the cap. We can see Ville Brecht München. I'm not so sure if it's the name of a person or a business. Maybe there is a cabinet of lawyers from München. So, Ville Friedrich Kostag München. First of all, guys, I believe that this. Let me tell you what I paid for them. So for this beautiful celluloid one, I paid around 50 lays or 10.11 euros or 11.49 American dollars. And I paid this sum of money because you can see it lacks the ending of the cap, which is similar to this ending or other fountain pens from the 1930s that I have with me. This is a Luna Steadler Mars model. This is one simple one made out of celluloid, and this is another hard ending rubber. This is a Mel B um, German fountain pen. Or I'm sorry, LC Hartmut. I'm sorry, this is a Bohemian fountain pen, which had also representation in Austria. So let's leave the other 1930s fountain pens aside, and let's concentrate on those models. So again, I paid a reasonable sum of money for this model, and one of the reason is it lacks the ending of the cap, and the other reason it is fitted with a steel nib. So although it's the original Luxor nib, it isn't a gold nib, guys. And the other model, where for this model I think I paid twice. Yes, I paid 100 lays or 20.20 euros or 22.79 American dollars. You can see it has this corroded clip here, but it is in a beautiful celluloid material. It lacks one of the rings here, and it has this gold nib. Unfortunately, I believe that the gold nib is not original to this model. In fact, it's a warranted 14 karat first quality gold nib, probably made in USA or in the United Kingdom, but you can see that it lacks that iridium tipping, and it simply writes quite broad. You will see on the writing sample what I mean, guys. So two interesting fountain pens from a well-known or lesser-known smaller German producer. In fact, I will talk about the history of this brand. This part is taken from that video with on which I've presented the 14 karat Luxor product from the 1950s. So here's the history lesson, guys.
The Luxor brand, it's a German vintage fountain brand produced by H. Hebborn and Company. The Luxor was founded in 1925 in Heidelberg by Heinrich Hebborn and another two associates. There were Caveco shareholders. So the three gave birth to the H. Hebborn and Company. Although the name was H. Hebborn and Company, it was universally known by the name of his brand, Luxor. They had also a sub-brand called Sphinx. The inspiration theme of ancient Egypt was present to the whole company. Very interesting in the history of this German company is that in 1935 the company invents and patents a telescopic piston filler mechanism with two concentric sections which allows to have a much shorter mechanism, resulting in more space for the ink reservoir. The mechanism was mounted on their telescope model, and it seems that even the Mont Blanc adopted a similar system with small modifications. It was the only system that Mont Blanc patented. It is the famous telescopic system, which is fitted on the flagship models of the Mont Blanc in the 1940s and in the 1950s with the series 13X and 14. In 1938, the Luxor company moves its production facilities in Cologne. Unfortunately, the Luxor company is no longer in existence. The activities of the Luxor company ended in the 1970s when it was bought by the Parker German branch. Not to be confused with today, where a company in India, which the brand name has a brand name Luxor, and it's one of the Waterman and Parker distributors in India, but it is also a well-known fountain pen producer in India.
Okay, I've just returned from the history lessons with those beautiful fountain pens. Judging by the way they are built, I believe they are from the 1930s. And let's start by leaving first the dimensions of this beautiful fountain pen, and after that I will do a writing sample with it. So first of all, you can see that we have a button filler, which was quite a popular filling mechanism in Germany in the 1930s. Unfortunately, this needs to have its sac replaced, so I will just do a small writing sample with it using this Mont Blanc ink that you see right here. So I will just dip it in ink and let's see if it will write. Of course, because it doesn't have that iridium tip, I'm not so sure about the quality. Let me see if we can post it. Yes, we can post it. I will simply take out the excess of the ink from the grip section, and let me see if I can write with it. So let me give you a little zoom. Yes, so this is a Luxor with a 14 karat warranted. Okay guys, so Luxor 14 karat warranted, and I have here my ink bottle. It's interesting to see how a gold nib without its iridium tip can write. And look at the times. So if I do this, let me zoom out. You can see that we have a quite stub nib, but you can also use it like this, I think. Yes, and this writes quite nice. I had a little accident, it scratched the paper, so as you can see, quite a juicy nib, and like an oblique one, it's quite interesting. But in time this gold will be affected by the interaction with the paper, in the sense that the gold is quite a light material. So this is the point of an iridium tip, a quite resistant material in the contact with paper, because in time the gold will be affected. Okay, now let me see. So you can see the line variance, and it depends. This was initially a quite flexible nib, in my opinion. Flexible nib. If now I will try to do the line variance test, so here no pressure and here a little bit of pressure. Incredible, no line variance. I can reverse write with it, but it scratches a little bit, so no, not a possibility. And let me see how I can do a signature with it. Well, it depends of the angle I hold it, so yes, I can see myself with a signature on it. And now let me tell you about the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. What is interesting, guys, probably you are familiar with my videos, and I have several gold nibs that they are missing the iridium tip of one tine, and this is what happens to a gold nib when it. And now, guys, we move to the second Luxor fountain pen. I have here my inkwell, and before I will dip it in ink. I want you to see the difference between the two nibs. So the main difference between them, of course, is that one is made out of gold, 14 karat gold, and the other one is made out of steel. So I presume it was a low entry level Luxor fountain pen intended for students or for pupils at school, or it was a wartime production of the Luxor fountain pen. In the wartime, the gold was restricted, it was considered a strategic material, and the fountain pen producers has to adapt to the new conditions of the market when it comes to pans. Another interesting difference between them, of course, is the tipping. We don't have an iridium tipping on the gold nib, and on the other one, maybe I can zoom on it, we can see that that iridium or that tipping is present. And another difference is the feeder. As you can see on this model, it seems to be a feeder from the 1930s, and this is a plain feeder from the late 1920s. I believe that both are made out of ebonite, and I can't hardly wait to write with the second fountain pen. So I will dip it in this ink bottle, and now I am ready to write with it. So this is the second Luxor. It writes quite fine. Let me give you a little zoom. Okay, now let me test the line variance. Well, no flex, it seems no flex, but it has that spring that is quite interesting. You can see we have a line variance, so it's an interesting German steel nib. It it is quite nice, guys. Let me see how wet it is. Quite a wet one. And let me see if I can reverse write with it. So reverse writing. It is a possibility. I'm sorry guys, I forgot to mention that this is a piston filler. This is the turning knob. So in comparison with the other model is a much newer model with an interesting feed. Let me dip it again in ink, and now I can tell you about the quick. Let me focus on it for a bit, guys. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I'm sorry for my bad handwriting. I'm trying to focus on it and it doesn't want to. So I hope now that you can see. Well, quite nice. I'm quite pleased with this steel nib, and I like both of the fountain pens. They are beautiful celluloid beauties from the late 1930s and early 1940s. And I'm very proud to own them in my small collection. So, thank you for your time, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode from the hospital. If you've enjoyed this review and you want to see more vintage fountain pens on my channel, please subscribe to the channel to support my activity. I want to wish you to have a wonderful day wherever you are. So let me try with this. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself in this pandemic time, and God bless. Bye bye.